Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, Tirkin, I'm here with some big decomp energy for you guys today, bigger than Mark Henry, the world's strongest man. That is because WWE Smackdown vs. Raw 2007 now has a recompilation project, and you're seeing the footage running right now. That is absolutely outstanding because honestly, lately I've been talking about wrestling games on the channel, and we want to see a lot more 360 recomps. And considering this is one that I was able to get running and was stable, it is one I wanted to talk about, because I know there's some other Xbox 360 recomp projects in development that you guys have been asking me about personally, but I have not gotten those to run on my system at all, or to a degree that I felt like they would be fun videos. Where 2007 here, absolutely working. Every once in a while a tiny visual glitch, but otherwise a higher internal running resolution, better textures, and overall just a prettier looking version of a really fun game. So we're going to be going over the big decomp energy here today and talking about just how awesome this is, and what I'd love to see for the Xbox 360 recomp scene in the future. But before we get too far involved, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell like Mark Henry's going to ring Triple H's bell right here. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. So just to clarify what this is, it is an Xbox 360 recomp project, but it is using RexGlue underpinning the actual graphics and audio. When we saw stuff like Sonic Unleashed, that full 360 recomp, that is doing something slightly different than RexGlue is. Basically, RexGlue is using some of Xenia underpinning it for the visuals and the audio, and it is statically recompiling all the PowerPC code in real time over to an x86 instruction set. Because obviously the PowerPC CPU in the 360 is not what you're using to watch this video right now, so you couldn't natively run the code. But honestly, RexGlue is getting more impressive, but it is project to project dependent as to how well it's going to work. Like the most recent Ace Combat 7 recomp, that is something that no matter what I do on my PC, I cannot get it to stop crashing like 15 to 20 seconds in. It's not a knock against the project, it is still in active development, but not every single RexGlue recomp is going to be up to the same overall standard. Where something like WWE here, absolutely like 99% of the way done. All of the models are drawing in, all of the graphics are here, you're getting a rock solid 60 frames per second frame rate, and basically everything is working. Every once in a while you'll see an actual polygon explode into infinity for maybe like half a second or a second, but it is very rare, and honestly once that gets fixed up, there's nothing I could point to in the game that would tell me it's doing anything other than what it should as a recomp. And honestly, I want to see more of these Xbox 360 recomps because the 360 has such an incredible library and it has a ton of awesome exclusives, but getting a higher internal running resolution and a more stable frame rate, or even a higher frame rate, would definitely benefit the 360 era of games. And decomps, recomps, and PC ports right now are all the rage. Now you maybe just saw one of those exploding polygons right there. Basically, there's something wrong in the rendering math where the polygon will basically render out into infinity. But short of that, if I just took a screenshot of this again, you'd have no idea it was doing anything other than perfection, and that really is impressive for a first draft of this recomp. And because it is such a fun game and one that I haven't played in forever, it definitely was exciting to actually play. Now to talk about the recomp in general, I will say I captured about 45 minutes of this. All the menus worked, it never once crashed, never had any sort of bugs that would lead to bad gameplay, and there was really no latency to speak of in the controls whatsoever. It has been a minute since I played this one, so it took me a second to actually remember exactly how all the grapples worked, but once I got there, everything just seemed to be a fun experience, and you really stopped thinking that this was a recomp, and you started playing it like it was a normal game. And that is always the goal of a recomp or a PC port from a decompilation project. You don't want to think about how it's working, you just want to play the game, have fun, and think to yourself, it's like they had a native PC version back in the day where you just double clicked on an executable and started enjoying the game. And honestly, that's what I'm getting here, and that's what I want to see a lot more of in the 360 era of recomps. Because if you take a look at the graphics, like I said, outside of those small exploding polygons, everything looks absolutely stunning here. Outside of some of the facial animations and overall expressions, because it was the era of good enough for government work, but not good enough to not look completely jacked up in spots either. Let's do the first for two soundtrack samples so you can hear the audio here, unless for some reason it sets off a flag, because honestly with WWE stuff you never know, and I'll be right back to explain more about how this recomp works.
Say that, King. How can you insult the intelligence of these WWE fans?
Well, I heard that we gave them an IQ test, and the results came back negative.
Folks, I've got to apologize for the King here tonight. He must have gotten up on the wrong side of
Stars are putting on a great match so far, JR. But if they drop the ball, these fans will let them hear about it.
I don't think that's going to happen, King. These competitors know that they're paychecks.
I mean, honestly, I haven't watched wrestling in forever, over 2 decades, but there's never been a better era of color commentary than Jerry the King Lawler with good old JR. They were just an absolute amazing combination, and it's one of those things. I grew up hearing those voices come out of my television, so if they didn't sound correct here, I would instantaneously know. And as far as the audio is concerned, everything was 100% buttoned up when I captured this, and I really don't have any comments to say otherwise, and that is highly impressive work from start to finish. And honestly, just playing this game, it feels exactly like it should. All of the controls are responsive, there really isn't any input latency whatsoever, so you can play the game as good or as bad as you remember how to play it. In my instance, that is probably a little bit below average on this one. And I just love this overall 360 era as well, where you have real human beings in the audience, and they are 3D models, but if you actually look at any of their faces, they're made out of like maybe 16 or 32 polygons, and basically look about approximately 2 generations removed from something like the N64 GoldenEye faces. The 360 and PlayStation 3 era, that was when we got high definition graphics, but we didn't exactly have the power to be able to push enough polygons to make everything look, where today all of those audience members would be made out of a hell of a lot more geometry. But there is something charming about it in its own right. Now, as far as RexGlue is concerned, if you want more of a technical explanation, basically it's taking all of the PowerPC code and PowerPC instruction set, and on the fly it recompiles that into an x86 architecture, because every CPU has its own instruction set and a way of actually dealing with code and processing it. And in a PowerPC setup, not only is the endianness completely the opposite, but it also is just a different code base that you would write. So that's what's happening right now in real time. All of those codes are being instantaneously transposed over something that your CPU can read. Think of it like something like a real-time translator for languages, where you speak in your language and immediately perfect language from a different area comes out the other end in a speaker. That's basically the concept of what a static recompilation is, and in RexGlue's instance, it is only doing the PowerPC code and everything else is Xenia underneath. So you're going to get a lower overhead cost to be able to actually run this on your PC versus just doing straight emulation. And Undertaker here, still can't believe he is around in some way, shape, or form. Absolutely one of my favorite wrestlers from the 90s, and it's great to see this intro. And honestly, going through the entire roster of characters available in this game, there's some that I didn't even know existed, and of course there's some that I absolutely grew up loving, so it's kind of a fun mix. But again, I stopped watching wrestling in like 2001 or 2002, and I played a game here and there, but it's one of those things, so many of the people actually involved in this game, I have no idea who they are, so I definitely went with people like Mark Henry and Triple H and The Undertaker just because they were recognizable. And I will say it's amazing they have a Royal Rumble mode, but I absolutely took the pipe on this one and just ended up getting eliminated absolutely immediately, because again, it's been a very long time since I played this game, probably like 2007 or 2008 at a friend's house when I was traveling around for work. Let's go into the second soundtrack sample, same as the first. Hopefully it actually works here. I'll come back and tell you how you can play this game today, because trust me, if you enjoy it, this is an incredible version to play. I mean, everything was great there, minus my performance in the Royal Rumble, because I took the pipe right off the top. Now, if you want to play this one today, the link is in the description below to the GitHub repository where you can download the actual Recomp executables. You will have to bring your legally owned Xbox 360 disc along for the party, and you'll have to extract all the files from that and put them into the actual folder where the executable lives, but there is a README on the website, so just make sure you pay attention to that and you'll have 100% success. It even comes with a launcher for you to be able to pick what resolution you want, whether you want to be in windowed or full screen mode. Basically, it gives you all the options you could possibly want to make this game look prettier and run better than it ever did on the Xbox 360. And because it was the first HD generation, it definitely could use some improvements around the edges here and there. So I'm really glad that stuff like this exists, and we're going to be getting more Xbox 360 recomps in the future. But I always love asking this question. If you could snap your fingers right now and make one Xbox 360 game suddenly show up on PC as a perfect example of a recomp or a PC port, which one would it be? But short of that, definitely check this one out. It is a very fun time, but we're done here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.